In 1959 Hong Kong, the story opens with a quiet morning in Yip Man's residence. A knock on the door interrupts the serenity. It's a young Bruce Lee, now a teenager, who has come to remind Yip Man of his promise to teach him Wing Chun, a promise made years ago when Bruce was just a boy. To test his potential, Yip Man suddenly throws cigarettes at Bruce, testing his reflexes with quick precision. Bruce performs decently, but Yip Man's cool reaction leaves him visibly disappointed. With a heavy heart, Bruce walks out, realizing that the path to mastery would not come easy. Meanwhile, outside a nearby school, two young boys, Yip Ching and Chung Fong, clash in a playful yet intense fight. Their teacher, Miss Wong, rushes in to break them apart, bringing them to the office for discipline. Yip Man arrives, concerned for his son, and discovers that Chung Fong's father, Chung Tin Chi, is often late due to his demanding work as a rickshaw puller. Yip Man, with a kind heart, invites the boy to join them for dinner. Later that evening, Tin Chi appears at Yip Man's doorstep, silently grateful for Yip Man's generosity. The next day, Chung Tin Chi steps into a darker world, an underground fighting arena, where honor and money clash in brutal matches. As he fights for survival, a powerful figure enters. Frank, portrayed by the menacing Mike Tyson, with his entourage. Frank, a wealthy businessman, discusses a sinister plan with his manager, saying, the rapid acquisition of a local school for real estate purposes. Elsewhere, Yip Man visits a local restaurant run by Master Tin, but their peaceful gathering is interrupted by a call from Yip Man's wife, Wing Sing. She's been waiting for him at their dance class for over an hour, and Yip Man realizes he has forgotten his promise to her. Torn between his duties as a martial artist and a husband, Yip Man begins to struggle with balancing family and honor. Later, Yip Man crosses paths with Chung Tin Chi again. The two men, both students of the same Wing Chun master, exchange words that hover between respect and rivalry. Tin Chi invites Yip Man to a future sparring match, a test of skill that Yip Man reluctantly agrees to. Tension rises as the lines between friendship and competition blur. As Yip Man leaves the school with his son, they encounter Sang and his men, who are forcing the school staff into selling the institution. When the headmaster refuses, Sang resorts to violence, but Yip Man steps in, swiftly neutralizing the thugs with effortless precision. The police are called, but the conflict is far from over. That night, Sang, humiliated by Yip Man, orders his men to lock the school gates, trapping teachers and children outside the next morning. Miss Wong calls Yip Man for help, and without hesitation, he leads his students to break the chains. From the shadows, Sang's men watch, but flee when Yip Man notices them, knowing that a direct confrontation with the martial arts master could only end in defeat. Fearing another attack, Yip Man and his students decide to guard the school through the night. As expected, Sang's thugs return under the cover of darkness. A fierce battle ensues, Yip Man defeating them with calm precision. In the chaos, the headmaster is kidnapped, but before they can escape, Chung Tin Chi appears. With swift, powerful strikes, Tin Chi takes down the kidnappers and rescues the headmaster. As he leaves, Yip Man thanks him, acknowledging the strength and honor of his fellow martial artist. Amid the external battles, a more personal struggle unfolds within Yip Man's family. One day, Wing Sing, feeling a sudden pain, visits an herbal shop for medicine, hiding her illness from her husband. Meanwhile, Yip Man is approached by Master Tin, who expresses deep regret over the violent actions of Sang, his former student. The weight of his responsibility as a master, husband, and protector of the community begins to weigh heavily on Yip Man's shoulders. Master Tin, enraged by Sung's betrayal, drags Yip Man to confront his former disciple. The moment they meet, Tin's fury explodes. He slaps Sung across the face, unable to accept the dishonor Sung has brought upon them. Sung, consumed by his own anger, pulls a blade, ready to strike down his ex-master. But Yip Man, ever the calm mediator, swiftly disarms him before Sung's men surround them, ready for bloodshed. Just when it seems the fight is inevitable, Fatso, Tin's ally and a police officer, bursts onto the scene, pointing a gun at Sung. The tide momentarily shifts. After the dust settles, the three of them discuss the escalating tensions surrounding the local school, but Fatso admits his hands are tied. Sung's boss, Frank, has bribed the police force, making justice an elusive goal. Meanwhile, the personal stakes grow heavier. One morning, Wing Sing, Yip Man's wife, goes to the doctor for a checkup, only to receive devastating news. She's diagnosed with terminal cancer. Shocked and heartbroken, she heads home, where on the way she spots Yip Man being flattered by a group of women outside the school. The sight stings her emotionally, but she holds back the pain, unsure of how to share her grim diagnosis with him. On the other side of town, another storm is brewing. Chung Tin Chi, driven by financial desperation, accepts a dangerous job from Sung, to take down a kung fu master. When he arrives at the location, he's horrified to discover his target is none other than Master Tin. Though Tin fights valiantly, Chung Tin Chi, a formidable fighter, breaks Master Tin's hand in the ensuing battle, leaving the elder master defeated. Back at home, Yip Man is tending to his duties when his wife, Wing Chun, confronts him about his long absences from the family. Just as she's about to reveal her illness, he receives a frantic call from the hospital about Master Tin's injury. He rushes out, leaving her alone with her secret. Meanwhile, Sung's sinister plans unfold. He storms the school, kidnapping the students, including Yip Man's son, Yip Ching, and demands the headmaster come to him if they want the children returned safely. Yip Man, fresh from visiting the injured Master Tin at the hospital, learns of the kidnapping when Miss Wong informs him of his son's capture. Filled with dread, Yip Man races to Sung's hideout, carrying only a bamboo staff. Upon arrival, he finds Yip Ching in tears. Desperate to free his son, Yip Man pleads with Sung, who seizes the moment to humiliate him, forcing the great martial artist to kneel and beg. Just then, Chung Tin-chi appears once more, this time to collect his son, and Sung releases Yip Ching easily. But the tension remains. Sung orders his men to attack Yip Man, and a brutal fight ensues. Yip Man fights with ferocity, but amidst the chaos, Chung Tin-chi reappears, now determined to right his wrongs. He engages Sung in a deadly fight, hoping to free the captive children. Sung, realizing he's losing ground, grabs Yip Ching as a hostage again. But this time, the boy fights back, biting Sung's arm, giving Yip Man the chance to break free and pursue his son. Before long, the police arrive, and Sung flees into the shadows as reporters capture the aftermath of the battle. Returning home, Yip Man finds Wing Chun waiting for him. Overwhelmed by fear and anger, she slaps him, and he embraces her, apologizing for everything. It is in this tender moment that Wing Chun finally reveals the truth about her cancer. The next day, the couple visits the hospital, where they receive the devastating news: she has just 6 months left to live. The weight of this revelation hangs over them as they begin to live each day with a heavy heart, cherishing the time they have left. As Yip Man contemplates his next move, trouble continues to brew. Frank, furious over Sung's reckless kidnapping, is visited by the police chief, who tells him they can no longer protect him. Realizing the situation is spiraling out of control, Frank confronts Sung, who is training with a Muay Thai fighter. In a rage, Frank punches Sung, knocking him to the ground. But Sung deflects the blame, pointing the finger at Yip Man. Seething with anger, Frank orders the Muay Thai fighter to hunt down and kill Yip Man. Later, as Yip Man is escorting Wing Chun from her medication, they enter a lift together. The doors are about to close when the Muay Thai fighter appears, holding the door. Without warning, the fighter launches a savage attack, and Yip Man braces for another brutal showdown. A fight not only for his own survival but for the safety of his ailing wife. With his wife by his side, Yip Man carefully maneuvers to protect her. They step outside the lift, rushing down the stairs in a flurry of kicks and punches. Despite the hitman's vicious attacks, Yip Man swiftly defeats him with precision and grace. He returns to his wife, who sighs with relief, and they walk home hand in hand, their bond stronger than ever. Meanwhile, Fatso reports that the situation is finally under control, but Frank, a hardened boxing promoter, isn't done yet. Determined to assert his dominance, Frank demands to meet Yip Man. At Frank's place, the two men stare each other down, and Frank throws down a bold challenge. If Yip Man can last 3 minutes in the ring with him, Frank will stop interfering with the local martial arts school. The fight begins, and Frank's raw power seems overwhelming. Each of his punches feels like a freight train, and for a moment, it looks like Yip Man might crumble. But the Wing Chun master holds his ground, countering with his signature rapid-fire blows. The clock ticks down, and just as Frank is about to land a crushing hit, the bell rings. 3 minutes, Yip Man has survived. Frank, shaken but true to his word, backs off, and Yip Man walks away, victorious and calm. On the other side of town, Chung Tin-chi, an ambitious martial artist, is busy carving out his own legacy. He rents a hall to open a Wing Chun academy, much to the excitement of the landlord, a fervent fan of Yip Man. She eagerly shows Chung a newspaper featuring an article about Yip Man eager to promote his own name. Chung meets a news reporter at a restaurant and asks him to write about his new school, but the reporter is unimpressed, questioning Chung's abilities. Things quickly escalate when a respected kung fu master enters the restaurant. Sensing an opportunity to prove himself, Chung challenges the master on the spot. The battle is brief but intense. Chung defeats the kung fu master with ease. Photographers capture the moment, and soon, Chung Tin-chi's name is splashed across the newspapers. With newfound fame, he challenges and defeats several martial arts masters, building up to his ultimate goal, challenging Yip Man himself. He publicly accuses Yip Man of diluting Wing Chun and claims that the title of Wing Chun Grandmaster is rightfully his. Yip Man sees the challenge in the newspaper, but his focus is elsewhere. His wife, Wing Chun, catches his eye, silently pleading for his attention. Ignoring the taunt, Yip Man chooses to remain by her side, standing by his vow to protect her, no matter the cost. Their love is palpable, and instead of preparing for battle, he goes with her to a dance studio, where he encounters a familiar face, Bruce Lee. The young martial artist is now a dance instructor, and after a brief exchange, Yip Man reveals that he never rejected Bruce as a student. The misunderstanding cleared, they share a smile, and Bruce agrees to teach Yip Man how to dance. While Yip Man dances joyfully with his wife, unaware that the day of the fight has come, Chung Tin-Chi and the other kung fu masters await him at the venue. When Yip Man doesn't show, the judges reluctantly declare Chung Tin-Chi the new supreme Wing Chun master. But even in victory, Chung is unsatisfied, knowing that his title is hollow without defeating Yip Man directly. Suddenly, Ip Man's peaceful life is shattered. Wing Sing collapses in his arms. At the hospital, Yip Man learns that her condition has worsened. Heartbroken but devoted, he stays by her side through her illness. One day, as she weakly sips porridge, Wing Sing makes a heartfelt request. She wants a final picture with her husband and asks their son to deliver a letter to Chung Tin-Chi, rescheduling the fight. As the days pass, Wing Sing tells Yip Man she misses hearing the familiar sounds of his training. Reluctantly, Yip Man agrees to fight Chung Tin-Chi, more for his wife's sake than his own. On the night of the battle, Wing Sing accompanies him to the venue, a fragile but determined figure. The match begins with a staff battle, both men wielding their weapons with incredible skill. The clash is fierce, their staffs breaking under the pressure of their blows. They move to dual blades, each warrior showcasing masterful technique, but once again, neither can claim victory. Finally, they fight barehanded, and it is here that the true test of their abilities unfolds. Chung Tin-Chi, driven by pride, manages to strike Ip Man's eye, momentarily blinding him. But Yip Man, with his deep well of experience, counters with a devastating one-inch punch. The impact sends Chung sprawling, and with that, he admits defeat, breaking his own supreme Wing Chun master banner as a gesture of respect. Yip Man, ever the humble master, tells Chung that titles mean nothing. What matters most is the love of those around you. As the battle's dust settles, Wing Sing's condition worsens. In a final, poignant moment, she passes away in Ip Man's arms, succumbing to her illness. The movie ends, leaving the legacy of Yip Man as not just a master of martial arts, but a man whose heart was as strong as his fists, carrying on with the memory of his beloved wife close to his heart. And that's a wrap on the breathtaking journey of Yip Man in Yip Man 3. From facing ruthless opponents to standing strong by his family, Yip Man has shown us that true strength lies in both heart and fist. Hit that like button. And if you're craving more epic movie recaps filled with drama, action, and twists, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss out on movies unboxed.